So, from your point of view, what does it mean to be a lifelong learner?
I think that means staying curious, being open, being receptive, recognizing that you can learn from anyone and anything and any kind of situation if you take that mindset to it. So instead of thinking like people are like, you failed, you did this wrong. It's like, no, it's an opportunity to learn. That's kind of my deal on it.
And then, why do you think so many people stop learning? Right, like so many people, they're like, "Oh, I finished school. I'm not learning no more." But why do you think people just like stop learning? Like,
I think it goes back to like the opposite, right? It's they close themselves off. They it's self-limiting. Or they get beaten down by other people. Like they believe somebody else's hype about them.
yeah,
Like one of the things that I always say when people say things that are like a limiting belief to me, it's like I'll say to them, like, who told you that? And why did you believe them? Because that's the thing, right? It's usually some person in a position of authority tells you something, maybe has punished you for thinking differently about it. For me, and it's just like that's such a shame to me. It's like why limit yourself like that? Like why think that that's the only way of being or the only way of thinking or the only way of knowing? Like I get shit all the time because, scientist, 2 master's degree, PhD, and then what you're studying astrology, you're studying like palmistry, like what are you doing with that dream analysis? Like what are you doing? Like don't you think that's going to blow your credibility? As far as I'm concerned, it's like people will scapegoat those other ways of knowing without even knowing about it, right? So it's just like saying, oh, physics, what a bunch of bullshit. Gravity, please. You'd sound like an idiot, right? Because science is accepted as the way of knowing. What like why would you disparage something that you know like nothing about? Like when you talk about astrology, most people are maybe coming up with their sun sign. If that's all you know, then yeah, of course you're going to disparage it. Like you would never even understand calculus if all you know was 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Then you say calculus, please, what a bunch of hogwash that is. So I kind of like it the same way. It's like know what you know, and if you don't know much about it, be curious about it instead of just dismissive.